Okay, well, I'm going to break into the interesting conversation going on here, and we can open this meeting of the Plymouth Village Water and Sewer District. And why don't we do that by pledging allegiance to the flag, which is right there on the wall.
To the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, the Article 1 on here is the election, so I will announce the election results from yesterday. And for Commissioner, it was Christopher Woods, 221 votes, 2 write-ins, 1 for Katie Crawford and 1 for Marsha Morris, 17 overvotes, and I declare Christopher Woods duly elected. For clerk, it was Barbara Noyes, 229 votes, 1 write-in for Bob Marley. So we missed an opportunity there, didn't we? But Barbara said she'll sing tonight if we ask. And there were 10 undervotes, and I declare that Barbara Noyes was duly elected as clerk. For moderator, Quentin Blaine, 228 votes, 1 write-in for Robert Trask, and 11 undervotes. I declare Quentin Blaine duly elected. And that brings us to Article 2, which is replacement of water and sewer lines, which will be a ballot vote. We'll have 2 ballot votes on this warrant. To see if the district will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $2,150,000 for the purpose of replacing water and sewer lines for Avery Street, Cummings Street, and Pleasant Street. $1,700,000 for water main replacement, 70% principal forgiveness, and $450,000 for sewer infrastructure upgrades, and to authorize the commissioners to enter into a loan agreement with the New Hampshire Drinking Water State Revolving Loan Fund for $2,150,000, and to pass any vote relating thereto, and further to authorize the commissioners to apply for, receive, and extend other federal and state grants that may become available. This article is contingent upon the district receiving the loan, subject to the terms and conditions described herein. The commissioners recommend this appropriation. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Second.
Article 2 has been moved and seconded. It's now on the floor. And Jason, did you have something to say before we vote on this one?
Yes, I have a short little presentation of what Article 2 is about.
Okay.
Right. So, my name is Jason Randall. I'm the superintendent here at Plymouth Village Water and Sewer District. And tonight we will be discussing a little bit about Article 2 and Article 3, the next article. So a little bit of background of the district's current projects, the project need, our funding summary, and any questions at the end will be available for answering. So some of the background of our system, you can see here, this is the sewer map showing the sewer extending throughout the village district, up Route 3 North, Fairgrounds Road, out Tenny Mountain Highway, and along Yetton Road to Mayhew Turnpike. We have 2 wells down at Foster Street here in Plymouth. We have many hydrants. We have a booster pump station and storage tanks up on Yetton Road. And we have about 27 miles of distribution main and just over 1,100 service connections. We also have 1 wastewater treatment facility down at South Street near the highway garage. And we have 9 pump stations, sewer pump stations around the community. 27 miles of gravity sewer main and about 4 miles of sewer force main. So some of the background, we're actively working on system improvements. This past year we worked on our Main Street project, which was highly visible to the community. But we're also working on a new water source over in Holderness. And have worked on pump station improvements here on Old North Main Street and some improvements to the septage receiving area at the wastewater treatment plant. We're currently working on 4 projects that are in design, which we call the ARPA projects. They received ARPA funding which is Highland Street, Russell Street, Reservoir Road, Emerson Street. Those projects are in design and slated to be constructed next year. Actually, 3 of those out of the 4 will be next year. We've already done some work on Russell Street in conjunction with the town's drainage upgrades. So tonight we have 2 warrant articles, Article number 2 and Article number 3. Article number 2 is for Avery Street, Cumming Street, and Pleasant Street improvements. And Article number 3 is the wastewater treatment plant and sewer solar array. So project number 2 description for warrant article number 2. Pleasant Street has a 1920s 6-inch cast iron water main that has hydraulic deficiencies from about Russell Street up to Avery Street. We'll continue on to Avery Street, which has about a 1940s 4-inch and 6-inch cast iron main that's undersized as well, and Cumming Street with similar mains. There's been about 6 water main breaks over the years within these roadways. There's also the potential for lead jointed pipe and lead gooseneck services that we are in the process of working on to remove from our entire system. There'll also be a little bit of sewer work on these roads, manhole rehabilitations, and what we call I&I reduction, which is inflow and infiltration of surface water and groundwater. We want to make sure that no additional water is getting into our sewer system that we have to treat, which adds to cost. The town of Plymouth is also replacing drainage in Pleasant Street. My understanding is that's about $400,000 project that we're hoping to align with them and share the project timing and within that roadway. So there's potential cost savings there for both the town and the district. Our funding summary, as Quentin noted, the water portion of the Avery Street, Pleasant Street, and Cumming Street is $1.7 million, with about 1.19 of that million of that coming in the form of principal forgiveness and grants. So it's about 70% of the project will be subsidized by principal forgiveness and grants, which is a significant portion. The sewer portion of the project, we are in the process of developing a clean water state revolving fund pre-application to apply for funding for that. The sewer portion is $450,000, like I mentioned, for sewer rehab. So there's a potential to recoup some costs in principal forgiveness there, about 10% of that, and also about 20% of that in state aid grant. So overall, the loan for the entire project is about 40% of the project, and the grant is about 60%. So with that, we'll turn it back to you, Quentin.
Okay, are there any questions for Jason or anyone else in regard, or comments in regard to the proposed project or Article 2? This is one of our,
I'll say something.
okay,
Well, these are 2 really good projects and they're very heavily subsidized. I think it's a good deal for the town.
It's a great deal for the town.
anyone else? Then we will start the voting. This will be by a ballot vote. You've got yes, no. I think the top one is green. And
It is.
so,
Mr. Colorblind.
and thank you for the contrast for the second vote. If you did green and brown, I'd be like still. But so the polls will be open for 1 hour. We'll start it. Open the polls now is 6:10. So the polls will close at 7:10. Once we cast our votes, we'll come back here and work on Article 3 and get that going and voted on. So.
Okay. Polls open?
Yeah, well, just a second. I'm just going to open the boxes and declare them free of malware.
Malware, yes.
So there is a crumb in this one. No, it's just a crumb, tiny piece of paper. I don't think it'll be counted. But,
Especially if it's not green.
all right.
Yeah, I know, you get, no, blue, no.
Yep, there it fell on
Okay,
the table.
it's blue, so that one wouldn't work. So we'll call this for number 1. Well, I guess I opened the polls a little bit too early. What's the time right now?
Let's say it's 6:10 by that clock. We'll leave
6:10,
that
so
one.
it'll be 7:10 by that clock. And you can vote all at once here, or you can
Wait for him.
wait.
No, let's.
The anticipation would kill me if I had.
Tough to count these tonight, Gary.
No, exhausting. Easy night. Last night, right? Last night. The night before.
And can you watch that clock for me? I can barely see it over here, so it's
Yeah, oh,
7:11. We'll open up and we'll do business. And so while we're waiting on the vote, we will go to Article 3, Solar Array, to see if the district will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $756,000 for the purpose of developing a solar array, and to authorize the commissioners to enter into a loan and grant agreement with the New Hampshire Clean Water State Revolving Loan Fund for up to $756,000. It is anticipated to receive a $200,000 NHDES Energy Audit Measure Implementation Grant. Is that Department of Environmental Services?
Yes.
Okay, New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services. If received, this will reduce the amount that is needed to be borrowed, and to authorize the commissioners to expend such monies as they become available, and to pass any vote relating thereto. And furthermore, to authorize the commissioners to apply for and receive and expend other federal and state grants that may become available. This article is contingent upon the district receiving the loan, subject to the terms and conditions described herein. The commissioners recommend this appropriation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Okay, Article 3 has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Jason, do you have a separate
Yes.
presentation on this one? Or put you on the spot.
Start. Yeah.
Do you want to use the corner of the desk for the mouse?
I could use it here, I just gotta find my way back.
I'll move.
Doesn't want to cooperate. There we go. So warrant article number 3 is for the solar array. As Quentin mentioned, we are looking to implement our comprehensive energy audit measures. We're calling this Beyond Efficiency. We've touched on many of efficiencies throughout the wastewater plant, from converting drives to variable speed drives, changing out light bulbs to LED light bulbs, and have made great strides. So one of the lower hanging fruits now is to add to our solar portfolio. So in 2022, the wastewater facilities used approximately 500,000 kilowatt hours of energy to provide pumping and treatment of the sewer. And our existing wastewater treatment plant solar array generated about 150,000 kilowatt hours of energy. So it's approximately 30% of the wastewater treatment plant's total energy was offset by our current solar array. In 2023, we studied potential site locations at the wastewater treatment plant and sewer pump stations to identify about 200,000 kilowatt hours of potential PV generation. Our goal is to generate about 80 or up to 80% of the current usage at each facility in order to capture the power, what we call behind the meter. We don't want to be sending the power back to the grid. The incentive for that is less than what we would get by generating the power and keeping it and using it. So that was our goal. Our current estimated cost to install is about $3 a watt, and we have about $676,000 in construction costs and about $80,000 in engineering and permitting. So we're estimated to receive 90% grants for this project in the form of principal forgiveness and also federal incentives. And we will receive annual renewable energy credits valued at about $35 per 1,000 kilowatt hours produced. So we're currently receiving about $5,000 a year in energy credits with our current system. We expect to receive at least that amount with this new solar array. So with the grants and incentives, the environmental and financial return on investment will be achieved in less than 4 years. So as you can see, the $756,000 total project cost. There'll be about $82,400 in the form of a Clean Water State Revolving Fund loan or local contribution. The SRF principal forgiveness is about $20,000. Our sustainability grant is about $200,000. And then we'll also receive federal incentives in the form of 30% of a federal base incentive, $226,800, as well as other federal incentives that will add up to another 30%, such as incentives for domestic product use, so building domestically by American, as well as our median household income, our MHI, we receive incentives for that as well. So another $226,800 in additional incentives, and that brings our total grant and principal forgiveness up to $673,600. So as I mentioned, 90% grant and about 10% loan or local contribution.
Any questions for Jason?
Just one comment, if I may. I mean, the economics of this obviously are positive all around, and so I encourage people to support this project.
I do have one, Jason. Are you borrowing more than the project cost? Is the third block over higher than the total cost?
The principal forgiveness?
The
The third block over.
loan amount, the CWSF, is this a reading test, a vision test?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, because I can't.
I'll
read
get a
it.
little closer.
There you go. Excuse me.
The total project cost pre-app is $756,000. Next one over, CWSRF loan amount is $82,400. Oh, that's $82,000. I'm missing it.
You were adding a zero.
Just a zero.
zero.
Don't think nothing.
Yeah, it's just above 10% of the total
Okay,
project cost.
is the
yeah.
cost, okay. Is there any other discussion, or are there any other questions?
Well, I'd support it too. I think it's a great project. I've read all the reports on it and the analysis they were doing beforehand. He's gonna be locating them all around other pump stations, just as the whole,
Yep.
district wide.
I can speak to some of that too if you would like now or after the vote.
After we get the polls
Yeah.
open.
Yeah,
let's
great.
get,
Get them polls open.
Okay, we'll do that. See what we can find in this box.
So where do you have to wait an hour? Is that just,
It's law because it's
yes.
a bond issue. So any bond issuance has to have a 2/3 majority and be open for an hour.
it's now
So there is
Hmm?
not even a little.
Oh, it's 3/5?
Yeah.
3/5.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be 2/3. I've been around a while. It used to be 2/3.
Okay, okay, declare the polls for Article 2 to be open. And that'll be a yellow ballot.
Yep.
And we will, you tear off the one you want and put it in here and chew the other one and nobody knows what happens.
Looks like it's 20 after, right?
Yes.
6:20.
So,
Yes.
are you gonna keep track of this?
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you. Okay, while we have plenty of time, we will go on to Article 4, to discontinue capital reserve fund. To see if the district will vote to discontinue the water main construction and reconstruction capital reserve account, Meredith Village Savings Bank account number 902000966. Said funds with accumulated interest to date of withdrawal are to be transferred to the municipality's general fund. The current balance is $0. But if there was a balance, it would be traded, I guess. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on Article 4?
This just, it cleans up our accounts. We just have these accounts open with zero balance, and then we're just cleaning, it's house cleaning measure.
Yeah, I didn't know you, well, I guess you would need to do it because it was a
Yeah.
capital reserve.
It is a capital reserve, so you have to physically vote to disband the account.
And so we've got a, all those in favor of, is there any other discussion? All those in favor of Article 4, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Article 4 passes. Which brings us to Article 5, to see if the district will vote to discontinue the acquisition, exploration, and development for water supply capital reserve account, Meredith Village Savings Bank, account number 903-00895, I think 2 zeros. Said funds with accumulated interest to date of withdrawal are to be transferred to the municipality's general fund. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
The current balance is zero on this also.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second that.
So it's been seconded, and we also have found out that it's a zero balance now that it's on the floor. And is there any discussion or questions on Article 5? Hearing none, we'll bring it to a vote. All those in favor of Article 5 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay, or no, or however you'd like to do it. So Article 5 passes. Brings us to Article 6, Water and Sewer Operating Budget. To see if the district will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $3,911,500 for general district operations. This article does not include appropriations contained in special or individual articles addressed separately. This appropriation will be funded through income from departments and not taxation. The commissioners recommend this appropriation. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Article 6 has been moved and seconded. Is there discussion or questions on Article 6? Jason, we should have had you do a presentation on all of these, you know? It's,
We did have a budget hearing and we did discuss
oh,
it then.
okay, did you have slides?
We didn't have slides. no.
Oh, well.
No live entertainment.
Yeah, it's a hard act to follow. So, seeing no discussion, we'll bring it to a vote. All those in favor of Article 6 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. So Article 6 passes. Which brings us to Article 7, Other Business, and to transact any other business that may legally come before this meeting. I do not, does anyone know of any other business?
Do we want to do the oaths?
Oh, the oath, yeah, we will do that right, we can close the meeting and do the oaths sort of right after. The oaths for people elected, so,
Oh, yeah.
um,
So can you vote?
Yes.
so that's, you, Chris.
Their term isn't up until this meeting ends.
Oh, that's
Right.
true.
Yeah. Well, until the others, until their successors are elected and
Sworn.
sworn, yeah, elected and, well, there's another word they use too, but elected and sworn, so. I think we've got a legal business here. So anyway, is there any other business? Seeing none, I'd encourage a motion to adjourn.
We can't,
We can't?
because the polls are open.
Oh, the polls are open, you're
That's
right. Thank you.
Very good.
Once I get off on one track, there's no coming back to the same one. Do not intersect on a regular basis.
Oh, that's great.
Well, why don't we do the oaths now while we're waiting, Barbara? And we will be,
What am I signing them for?
Do you have the words that you can,
Oh, you are, I'm,
that's for me, for you to
Where's the
swear
Bible?
me in.
the district clerk. I am no longer a justice of the peace, the moderator has to do that. As treasurer, I can't swear at any of you, I mean, I can swear at you, but
okay, Barbara, you solemnly swear and affirm that you will faithfully and impartially perform all the duties incumbent on you as district clerk of the Plymouth Village Water and Sewer District, according to the best of your abilities, agreeable to the rules and regulations of the district, and that you will bear faith and true allegiance to the state of New Hampshire and the United States of America, and will support the constitutions thereof. Okay.
Yes. Can I repeat that? I, Barbara Noyes of Plymouth, New Hampshire, do solemnly swear and affirm that I will faithfully and impartially perform all the duties incumbent on me as district clerk of the Plymouth Village Water and Sewer District, according to the best of my abilities, agreeable to the rules and regulations of the district, and that I will bear faith and true allegiance to the state of New Hampshire and the United States of America, and will support the constitutions thereof.
Okay,
And I
so
guess
I
you
shall,
don't have to sign
better
it.
have to I can sign if you want, but, because usually you're taking your own oath here.
I know it.
That's a
Yeah,
little
go ahead.
different, okay.
And then Chris?
Yes.
I've got to swear it would be down to
And this is yours. You want me to read it to you first and then repeat it?
I'm happy to, well, if you'd like to, yes, sure, yes.
Okay,
You
I,
got the time.
Christopher Woods, of Plymouth, New Hampshire, do solemnly swear and affirm that I will faithfully and impartially perform all the duties incumbent on me as Commissioner of the Plymouth Village Water and Sewer District, according to the best of my abilities, agreeable to the rules and regulations of the district, and that I will bear faith and true allegiance to the state of New Hampshire and the United States of America, and will support the constitutions thereof. So you can sign it.
Well, okay.
Okay.
I, Christopher Woods of Plymouth, New Hampshire, do solemnly swear and affirm that I will faithfully and impartially perform all the duties incumbent on me as Commissioner of Plymouth Village Water and Sewer District, according to the best of my abilities, agreeable to the rules and regulations of the district, and that I will bear faith and true allegiance to the state of New Hampshire and the United States of America, and will support the constitutions thereof. Okay.
And then for Quentin, I, Quentin Blaine of Plymouth, New Hampshire, do solemnly swear and affirm that I will faithfully and impartially perform all the duties incumbent on me as moderator of the Plymouth Village Water and Sewer District, according to the best of my abilities, agreeable to the rules and regulations of the district, and that I will bear faith and true allegiance to the state of New Hampshire and the United States of America, and will support the constitutions thereof.
I will sign that, thank you, do I have to read it?
Yeah.
Oh, I
you
do,
need to take it.
okay. I'll read it and sign it. I, Quentin Blaine of Plymouth, New Hampshire, do solemnly swear and affirm that I will faithfully and impartially perform all the duties incumbent on me as moderator of the Plymouth Village Water and Sewer District, according to the best of my abilities, agreeable to the rules and regulations of the district, and that I will bear faith and true allegiance to the state of New Hampshire and the United States of America, and will support the constitutions thereof. Does this mean if we engage in insurrection, we can't be on the
No
ballots anymore?
insurrection.
I didn't hear that. Thank you.
Very good.
So this is when we have the potluck.
Yeah, did the board bring
The dinner.
the dinner? So we're just in a waiting mode here until Bob allows me to close the meeting.
Which will
be-
we do have other,
6:10,
Yes.
6:20, 7:20.
We do have other,
well, our regular meeting.
Our regular
Oh,
meeting we're
okay.
gonna conduct because
So-
we're online anyways.
okay, so you're gonna conduct that
Yeah.
too, okay. But- So we're in a semi-recess, I guess.
Here you go.
For
That
the
sounds good.
annual meeting.
For the annual meeting, yes.
Yes.
We switched from annual to the March 14th Commissioner meeting. And let's begin that by approving meeting minutes from February 26th, please, a motion.
I make a motion to approve the minutes, February 26th.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Payroll and manifests, we have several. Or, yes. Motion, please, to approve these.
Oh, make a motion that we approve the payroll manifests is the way it is.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. New business, we have monthly treasurer reports.
Oh, we got, make a motion
Discussion
we
regarding that.
post
We-
that.
Ah, right, that's right, yes,
We're
we're
postponing
going to
that.
table that till next meeting, right,
Right.
as per request. Old business, I'd just like to make a brief mention. I had brought up with Kim the concept of, just to refresh my memory on the interest on the capital reserve funds. And Bob has informed me that we did review that last year.
Yeah.
And that we have,
I met with the trustees of trust and the people from the bank, and we have the same rate as they do on the capital reserve funds, which is 1.6%, and on our own money market fund, it's 2.02, and which was way up from 0.01.
yes.
So we're still, ongoing. We talk to the bank to see if we can get better rates, but that's where we are right now.
Right, well, good, thank you for that update. Yeah, it's not a huge amount of money, but the point
Well-
was, came up last year, is we
Well-
don't wanna overlook any,
$7 million at 2% versus 0.1% is a huge difference.
that's right,
So,
it's all good.
no, it's
2.02 now.
2.02.
0.01.
We were at 0.01. Yeah. So that was 2 when you.
Ah, right. I've signed all of these.
It's my turn, right?
Yeah,
Gave me a pen that didn't write.
That was a test.
Jason is more behind you.
That's why I always bring my own.
next up on our agenda is discussion of our open commissioner seat here on the board, and we understand that Stephanie expressed some interest in the position, and we'd love to hear,
Questions?
yeah, if you have questions or,
I think I've got a pretty good idea of what you do, right? I spoke to Kim a little bit
right,
about your cycle that you go through in a typical year.
right.
And I looked at your schedule and I think I can commit to that time frame.
You said could or couldn't?
Could.
Okay. My heart stopped for a minute.
It's about time frame, right? I don't have other meetings on the 2nd and the 4th Tuesdays of the month.
Usually it's once a month, not
Usually
twice.
it's the second, but occasionally a fourth.
Yeah.
occasionally.
And as other business turns up, I mean, we do have a lot of projects going on sometimes that merits a meeting for whatever business.
It's not a huge commitment of time.
Yeah.
That's,
But there's quite a bit of information to review,
Yeah.
which is nice. And
It's something new.
it is very flexible. It's only a 3-person board, which has its pluses and its minuses. But one of the pluses is that, you know, it's very decisive.
Mm.
I think you'd like it. I'm on the zoning board. Quentin was on the zoning board with me too. I wonder who else. I see a lot of people in town on the zoning board with me. Yeah, anyhow, do you have any, what's your background? Anyhow, what do you get your degree in?
Well, my degree, I'm a sociologist.
Okay,
I'm more like a quantitative researcher, I'd say. Quantitative research, so numbers. I mostly
Oh.
teach at the university. I teach statistics and research methods. Those are
oh,
my two kind of bread and butter classes. And then youth and crime and family violence. Those are my two kind of specializations.
oh.
So,
Well, you'd love it if you like numbers. I mean, it's really kind of a numbers game. But,
we have numbers.
it is.
yeah, I'm good at math. I am. But
Yeah, well, it always helps to be able to add, that's what I always say.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of it is just, you know, making disbursements and reviewing proposals.
Just
And you've got,
business management, annual budget.
yeah,
and you've got
rate
the,
setting.
you've got a real nice team here with Jason and Kim, and Jason's just chomping at the bit, trying to do more projects, and it's like hard to keep up with.
I like numbers as well.
Yeah, he does. It's a spreadsheet having.
Good, I like that. I noticed that. You seem very well
Yeah.
organized.
Yeah,
You're gonna find more money if you're gonna have more projects.
Mr. Gibbons is pretty good at finding money.
I know, he's
Yeah.
been excellent at
Yes.
finding money.
yeah,
No.
he has.
I mean, 90%, that's almost unheard of for any project ever, you know, and that's, and
Makes
the
it
other
easy.
How
one,
can we not do that?
We got about 80 to 90% on the previous array, so we had to beat that.
yeah, well, there you go.
And how long have you been here, Jason?
Just about 10 years.
10 years. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
I should tell you that the last woman was on this board. Was here for like 24
Yeah.
years.
Really?
Mark said when he had to beat the numbers, you know.
No pressure you.
That's right.
For 24 years, that's a big commitment. I always like just looking at the year ahead.
Yeah.
Well, it's a one-year term,
It is a one-year appointment.
one-year
Right.
appointment, and then it would be a 3-year term if
Yeah,
you
if it
decided
Just
to.
arrived,
Yeah.
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 There usually isn't any much competition, as you can see. This is.
That's right, you got elected, and so did he again, by yourself.
That's,
Well, that's
yeah,
it. There was a lot of chatter about that because when I was working
yeah,
polls, people were like, well, why do we even have to have this ballot for what it's really no competition?
I know. Well,
Right.
that's got some downsides to it too, obviously. That's, you know, anybody could walk up at the last minute and sign up. And so that's, we're trying to be a little bit proactive here and, you know, look over, get somebody that's qualified, really wants to be here, rather than somebody just wants to come in and tell us our rates are too high. But that's all right, we can come in on that. That's, yeah, I
I
think
am in
it'd
the
be nice.
district.
Yeah.
Probably have been the whole time I've lived in Plymouth. So I've been water and sewer when I was on Fairgrounds Road. And now I just am the last house on Ash Hill that
Yep.
has sewer. So,
On the edge.
on the edge.
Yes, right.
Wish I had water.
Yeah.
Um, We're in the process of implementing a new rate schedule that we've been working on for 3 years, 4
If not
years,
longer,
5
yes.
years.
Yeah, but
Um,
online you have posted the meeting.
You're right.
And I
Oh, you
watched
read that? Great.
Yeah, excellent, yeah.
Yeah.
Just gone through some of the minutes, and just kind of checked out what issues that you guys have been dealing with, and, yep.
Yeah, I would say the rate studies, probably the biggest thing we've been working on for a while now, in addition to all the construction projects that are ongoing.
You are taking on a lot.
Yeah, it's,
Well, they outsource it all. They outsource a lot.
And we're very close to our new billing system,
Lot.
ready to roll out. So the new rates will be implemented into that new billing system, which will hopefully have some advantages for customers to pay online and different ways that they can look at their own usage and such. And we did also have a great demonstration from the new reading software the other day, and very impressive. Very impressive. They went out and took a 20-minute drive and they came back with more than half of our reads.
Yeah, that's-
Wow.
Yeah, so we definitely invested a lot of time in improving technology, both security-wise and, which we got a grant for, a bunch of grants for.
100% grant on
That's
that.
right. But
Beat
also,
that.
but also just a whole system-wide, you know, for accounting and our meter reading
Right
Your
now we're in the
website's
middle.
impressive too. Do you do the website?
We have a company that's
Yeah, so
very
it's-
good at helping us. We update it, but the UniLink really is very responsive, so if there's things that we're not quite sure on, all you do is send them whatever your information is and he puts it on perfect. So they're very responsive and they're not overly expensive, so.
Yeah,
It's a good
it's
website.
definitely a very cost-effective
Yes.
way of doing things.
Yeah.
Great
And our
communication
server-
tool too, to blast out email notices or text notices of things that are important, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our new server is in the closet presently. The racks aren't there yet. The new server is in and they migrated many of the office stuff over this week.
Mhm.
Yep.
These folks are very conservative with their emails. You really don't get a lot of emails, and when they come, it's, you know, it's like maybe 2 a week. And that,
You just
Kim,
have
we're-
your
they
personal
both-
email. You don't give us a.
No, we have
No,
a,
you would have
yeah,
Plymouth Water Sewer, yeah.
yes.
And you would have a computer, another computer
We
you'd
do
have to
a-
have,
Yeah,
a secure computer.
yeah. But it's good to keep it separate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we take care of purchase orders, that's taken care of via that computer that
Ah,
was issued to us.
makes sense.
I have a
that's
question.
good stuff. I think you could bring some good energy to the board.
Oh,
I have
Yes.
a question about tying together. I know at the town meeting last night, there was talk about paving,
Russell and,
Russell and Emerson, but is it, sorry, no, I missed this.
the stuff that's being paved now is the Main Street's being repaved starting hopefully in April, Russell, Warren. But the other projects, we're linking with them when they talked about Emerson Street and the other streets, we're linking with them at the same time, trying to save money versus digging it up twice and doing a terrible job. So that's why that is what we voted last night was for the following year in '25,
Okay.
as is what we talked about here today.
And Emerson was the one, I was just thinking of the linkage. between
Right.
the two projects.
Right.
And hoping there was some.
Yeah, and I did talk to Scott about that, and he says that the engineering is starting right off on Emerson Street, because it's gonna take a lot more of engineering, not just taking up and putting down.
Yeah, which
So-
is, I mean, that street, I'll be happy when it's closed off for construction, so I don't take it anymore, you know? I got a main street to get out to Highland Street, so I still go through it, I got a four-wheel drive, I mean, it's good, it's in town, but you gotta, it's not a straight run,
It's,
it's a, you know, go around the.
Slalom course, yes, right.
See, I go down to Langdon Street, but then when the students are back and it's lined up at Langdon Street getting off, I go beat the car going over the up
Yeah,
Emerson.
I agree, there's, if you need to go towards Merrill Street, you don't have too many outlets, but,
Yeah.
as we
So-
found out last year when they
But-
were closing off the bottom.
But starting about 2 years ago, we started working very closely with the selectmen on the projects to try to save money for the community. And we've saved a ton of money for the community by joining what we've done for both the water and sewer payers as well as the taxpayers for the town of Plymouth, which is something that hasn't always happened in the past.
That's right.
And been focused on infrastructure that needs to be updated desperately. And so a lot of stuff was pushed down the road in the past that we now have to address. and we've been addressing it rather aggressively, so.
No, I'm glad to hear that, taking it off piece by piece and going through. It's a long process, I'm
Yep.
sure, but got the right people in place.
Well, all that federal money came in just at the right time.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
These would have been, the rate would have been through the roof if we had paid for all these projects.
I'd hate to be another Flint, Michigan.
Right.
That's gonna be too long.
Well, we've been really working on the planning and projection of all of this for 10 years, since I started on the board. And, it's just finally things came together in a way that,
Especially with the well project,
Yeah.
we've been pretty much exploring for the last 50-plus years, since the highway was put in '64. So our wells were put in 1951 and 52 over on Foster Street, and we had a nice 30-acre protected parcel there, and then the highway decided to come right through there and take the land. We've been impacted with salt since then.
Mm.
So, and we also have iron and manganese, which are aesthetic concerns at this point. But I'm sure people are aware of their toilets or their laundry turning color, and so we're working to improve the quality of the water, and that's our new water source, and Holderness will provide us with a much better quality.
I know the plumbers have comments on Plymouth Water whenever, I think it just that they can, well, it's gonna cost you more, 'cause you gotta do this too.
They're making a fortune off it, they love it.
But our house improved a lot when we put in a whole house water filter
Yeah, we have one
a
too.
dozen years ago, and it was good. Of course, this water here is, the hardness of it, or the effect on the pipes is harder, but our house in Canterbury, it had stuff that when you read up what the consequence it is, it drives you crazy. I mean, it really affects the brain and everything else. And I know that I used to represent people getting committed to the state hospital one day a week down at the state hospital, and I know one of the former owners had gone in there when I did the title search and then connected the water. I said, that's a problem having young kids. We have to put in a full system ourselves, but the whole house one is working really well for us to alleviate those issues. And so, as you said, it's manganese and what? That's in there?
Iron and manganese are two naturally occurring elements that are very prevalent throughout the area, whether you're on a public source or a private source. So that's something that impacts, especially when we treat the water. The water coming out of the ground is crystal clear, but when we go and treat the water with chlorine is an oxidizer. So that reacts with the iron and manganese and makes it turn color, essentially.
Okay.
So that's why you see a little bit of a tint or off color sometimes. And also, a lot of the pipe we have in town is iron pipe, which doesn't help either. So a lot of the pipe that we install now, even though it's ductile iron pipe, it's cement lined, so the water's actually not touching the metal of the pipe.
What's the lifespan on that new pipe?
I'm hoping 100 years.
Good, we won't have to worry about it, will we, Jason?
But the pipe we took out of Main Street was 1926, we found castings on it. So just under 100 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
So new ones go over 100, you just said. Make sure they date it, so when they do excavate it, to be able to figure that out, I think. I mean, hopefully they'll date it.
Yep.
What is the thing with the water when it gets to a hot water heater? Because that's something that seems, the hot water heaters seem to wear out.
I think that a lot of that has, with the salt I think has a corrosiveness to it that'll rot hot water heaters out.
I replaced a few in my office down on Main Street when I was down there.
So that's, the salt unfortunately is very difficult to get out of the aquifer. Once it's in the aquifer, it takes many, many years of reduction. So we have worked over the years with DOT to put it in an impermeable ditch liner along the highway to redirect the water from going directly into the ground. And we've worked with them throughout the wellhead protection area to direct storm water, not to the ground.
I thought there was also supposed to be salt reduction in the wellhead.
We've petitioned them on that in regards to the highway, and they said they couldn't do it because of the speed and the curvature of the highway within the area.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't reduce the salt application. But they do use brine now instead of a lot of the solid salt spreading.
Right.
So they try to pre-treat as much as they can.
Mm-hmm.
It sticks to the road better, it doesn't run off.
Yes.
This is always the fun part, waiting.
Any questions, Stephanie?
No.
No? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking, yeah, right, just as one final housekeeping, we should make a motion here to enter the purchase recs into the
Oh.
record.
Okay, I thought we did. I'd make that motion.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. That covers all business for this evening.
Okay. You don't have to hang around.
Unless you're really curious about the vote.
I'm sure it's 7-7. That's all yeses.
That's
Clinton, you ready to open it for Article 2?
Getting close.
So we can get started with the calendar?
Yeah, we were. Well,
I guess
then
I'm
Article
not
2,
on my
the
vote.
poll is closed on it. Has everybody voted who wishes to? Did that, thank you, Bob. Did everybody vote who wanted to vote on Article 2? I'm being a little informal here, I understand. Well, I think I know what happened.
There you go. That one was easy.
It'll take us about half an hour.
No, we only needs to take you 10 minutes, Mary, till the next one opens.
10 minutes, so we got plenty of time.
I don't know where they store the rocks, okay. And the vote on Article 2 was yes, 8, no, 0. So Article 2 passes.
Yay.
Does that meet the 3/5 that we need?
Oh, it's close.
Yeah, it's close.
We got over the 5, so we
Okay.
got the 3, you know.
Round
So
Okay, I think we're ready.
made me feel pretty good.
Well, big crowd last night, thanks to tax.
Is there anybody who has not yet voted on Article 3?
Nobody was ready.
Who would like to?
Yeah, no.
I mean, I probably should.
Well, time has come, so we will
Yeah,
close the voting on Article 3.
a little humor there helped.
Set it down.
That's right, yes.
I knew it
I was in-
was. I knew it was. That was my subtle tact of doing that.
You did good.
Ups, they're all the right color.
Yeah, he's almost replacing John Wood there with.
Yeah.
I don't remember it.
Oh, John would always have some barbed comment,
Yeah.
starting with a wisecrack and then.
Yep. Well, you know, when things get tense, if you just throw a little humor in, and you know the people, I at least had years, I know the ones I can do it with, the ones I can't. And, you know, if there's somebody I didn't know, there's no way I would have ever done that, but I mean, I tell them.
In a surprise vote, Article 3, yes was 8 and no was 0, and that is more than 3/5, or 60%, I think, right?
Yeah.
Of the vote was yes. So Article 3 passes for the solar array.
Very good.
Great.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Okay.
Well, actually,
We stand adjourned.
No,
yes, well, we have to go into non-public session.
You do,
Yeah.
but I
Yes,
mean,
right.
yeah.
Oh, the annual meeting adjourned.
The annual meeting
Quick.
adjourned.